Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. The joint public hearing of the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs, the Committee on Peace, Unification and Reconciliation, and the Committee on Finance is called to order. The members of the committee share with the nation a collective grief brought about by the deadly incident in Mamasapano that claimed the lives of 44 members of the Special Action Force of the PNP and our Muslim brothers. Bago po tayo mag-umpisa, hihingi po ako ng ilang sandaling katahimikan upang magpasalamat at ipanalangin ang ating mga namayapang magigiting na PNP police officers. Kasama na rin po ang mga nagpapagaling ngayon ng mga nasugatan. Iniakda ni Gat Andres Bonifacio ang mga salitang ito. Aling pag-ibig pa ang hihigit kaya sa pagkadakila at pagkadalisay, gaya ng pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa. Aling pag-ibig pa, wala na nga, wala. Kung ang bayang ito'y masasapanganib at siya ay dapat na ipagtangkilik ang anak, asawa, magulang, kapatid, isang tawag niya'y tatalikdang pilit. Ipahandog-handog ang buong pag-ibig at hanggang may dugoy uubusing itigis. Kung sa pagtatanggol buhay ay mapatid, ito'y kapalaran at tunay na langit. Inihandog ng SAF 44 ang kanilang buhay sa pinakamataas na sakripisyo na magagawa ng isang pulis, ang mamatay sa linya ng tungkulin. Nararapat lamang na suklian natin ito ng sigasig sa paghahanap ng katotohanan sa pagdinig na ito. Ang paglabas ng katotohanan ng unang hakbang sa pagbibigay ng katarungan sa sinapit ng SAF 44. Utang nating lahat sa kanila, sa kanilang mga naulila at sa sambayanang nagdadalamhati ang pagpapalabas ng totoong naganap sa Mamasapano noong Enero 25 nang walang itinatago, walang pinipili, at walang interes kung hindi ang tuparin ang tungkuling iniatas sa atin. To set facts into perspective, and as Senator Soto, Estrada, Gingona, Ejercito, and this representation identified in the 5 Senate resolutions in today's agenda, let me briefly reiterate the following. 1. On January 25, 2015, members of the Philippine National Police's Elite Special Action Force led an operation in Mamasapano, Maguindanao. The operation was said to have targeted top terrorist Zulkifli Abhir, also known as Marwan, an alleged bomb maker who was believed to be a member of Jamaya Islamiyah, and alleged BIFF commander Basit Usman. Marwan is listed in the United States FBI's most wanted terrorist list. 2. A substantial number of SAF members were involved in the operation, 392 in all, according to the PNP. 44 members of SAF died, while more than at least a dozen were injured in the day-long encounter. On the part of the Committee on Public Order, we are conducting this hearing to determine what happened, as well as to provide long-term institutional mechanisms, solutions, or even laws to avoid repetition of the same tragic large-scale loss of lives. First, the committees need answer on command and control issues. Tactical implementation and strategic planning are equally important. One can lead to the success or failure of the other. Questions like, who ordered the operation? Who was in command during the operation? Was the operation cleared by the PNP leadership? Up to what level was the operation authorized? Who had tactical command? Where were the operational and tactical commanders during the encounter? what coordination was undertaken with friendly forces such as the AFP before and during the operations, with whom in the AFP and at what point, or even with the MILF, were coordinations undertaken? What role did foreign intelligence and operations take in the mission, if any? Second, the committees would like to raise questions about some fundamentals in combat operations and intelligence. It seems that there may have been a lack of intelligence preparations of the battlefield or IPB. While there could have been good intelligence on who the target personality was, Marwan in this case, the committee would like to be apprised of such equally important matters as the presence of who, what, where, and how many were the friendly and hostile forces in the targeted area, as well as in the areas of ingress and egress to and from the target areas. Alam natin na lahat ng isang kawal o pulis, kahit na may sapat na pagsasanay, ay sumusunod lamang sa mga utos o inuutos ng kanilang mga pinuno. Sa pagkakataong ito, maaring may sapat na intelligence kung sino ang dapat dakpin sa bisa ng warrant of arrest na kailangang ihain kay Marwan, subalit sapat din kaya ang kaalaman ng mga pinuno at ng mga pulis tungkol sa marami pang ibang bagay na gaya ng nabanggit ko? O hindi kaya ang kasalatan sa kinakailangan intel ang siyang punot dulo ng kaawa-awang pagkasawi ng ating puwersa? Dapat nating malaman ito. Isinubo ba ng kanilang mga pinuno ang mga pulis sa kanilang malagim na kamatayan? Pangatlo, gustong malaman ng komite kung sapat ang bilang at kakayahan ng puwersang sumabak sa operasyon. Assuming there was good intelligence that included the points raised earlier, why did the PNP employ only a small number of forces, only one strike unit platoon, and only one backup unit platoon? The PNP claims to have had 392 troops involved in the operation, but there was obviously no effective reinforcement employed while the firefight was ongoing. Ano po ang dahilan dito? Fourth, the training of police forces. Another compelling question that we seek answers to is this issue. Were the troops who were deployed and utilized sufficiently trained for this type of warfare and in that kind of environment and for that type of operation? The chair was informed that the operation which was undertaken was a semi-conventional rural jungle operation involving mass enemy forces. Wasn't there an evident mismatch of forces? If so, who is or are responsible for the proper assignments and proper number of assignees? Who decided which men? And how many men was the right fit for the operation? The committee also wishes to be enlightened about the equipage of forces. Were our police troops provided with the appropriate weapons and other needed equipment for such operation? Higit na mahalaga sa mga tanong at sagot sa pangyayaring ito ay ang pag-asam-asam din na malaman kung may pagtitiwala bang naiiwan sa lahat ng partidong kasama sa usaping pangkapayapaan. Halimbawa, nais ng komite na hingin sa MILF ang sinseridad nito sa pananatili sa usapin ng peace process. To show its sincerity, would the MILF be ready either to identify the perpetrators and at the very least impose appropriate and acceptable sanctions? And if the MILF is truly a partner in keeping the peace in the areas under their control, would they commit to a specific time frame to clear the area of BIFF forces together with government forces? Bago magsimula ang mga individual na katanungan or interpellations, mahalagang maintindihan natin ang buong kaganapan. Kaya para sa pagdinig ngayong araw na ito, uunahin naming tawagin ang mga sumusunod. Si Secretary Mar Rojas bilang tagapamuno ng DILG na sumasaklaw sa PNP. At pagkatapos naman niya, ang mga ibang magsasalita sa hanay ng PNP, kasama na po dyan si Director Getulio Napeñas, dating pinuno ng SAF Special Action Force na nangunguna sa insidente sa Mamasapano, at si Director General Leonardo Espina bilang pinakamataas na opisyal ng PNP sa kasalukuyan. Yung mga ibang resource persons po natin na nasa ground nung nangyari ito, katulad po ni Superintendent Raymond Train, at ni PO2 Christopher Lalan, sila po ay pwede natin makausap sa hiwalay na pagkakataon para hindi po sila nandito ngayon sa ating pagdinig. Dahil na rin po sa kanilang pisikal na kalagayan at sa kanilang seguridad. Sila po ay naririto, pero maaring kausapin po namin sila ng mga senador sa hiwalay na pagkakataon. Pagkatapos po ng PNP, sa hanay po ng PNP, tatanungin din po natin si Secretary Voltaire Gasmen bilang kalihim ng Department of National Defense at pagkatapos po niya ay si General Edmundo Pangilinan na siyang head ng 6th Infantry Division ng Army sa Maguindanao. Para maayos at masusi ang pagkalap ng mga testimonya, hihilingin natin na simulan nila ang kanilang salaysay sa mga pangyayari mula nang nagkaroon ng intel na nasa Maguindanao nga si Marwan, hanggang sa kainitan ng operasyon sa mga araw ng Hunyo 24, 25 hanggang sa matapos at makalap ang ating mga namayapa at mailigtas ang mga natitira pang mga pulis. Ang mga resource persons po natin ay bigyan natin ng pagkakataon magsalita yung ating pong nabanggit at pagkatapos po nun, pwede po tayo mag-umpisa sa ating mga katanungan. For purposes of orderly discussions, the committee shall allow our resource persons appropriate time to present their statements and knowledge on the issues at hand. All resource persons are required to provide the Secretariat copies of their respective position statements. The members of the 3 Senate committees are given 5 minutes each for their questions in every round, and we shall use the order of arrival as basis for the sequence of committee members to ask their questions. For today's hearing, I would like to acknowledge all the senators present here today: Secretary Mar Rojas, Secretary Voltaire Gasmen, Secretary Laila De Lima, the representative for Secretary Ochoa, Attorney Musni, and all our other Secretary Ging Deles, and all other resource persons here today, including those from the PNP, the AFP, and the local governments, and the members of the Peace Panel. And
Madam Chairman, if I may, before we proceed, I would just like the body to also acknowledge, although they are not resource persons, the presence of some of the family members who have come down from Cordillera to attend the hearings. They are Ms. Lourdes Salingsing, who is the aunt of PO2 Noble Kiangan of Mangkayan, Benguet; Mr. Victor Bumatnog, the uncle; Ms. Sara Bumatnog, the cousin of PO1 Russell Bilog of Baguio City; Ms. Julie Kayango, wife; and Ms. Melody Lapaan, sister-in-law of PO1 Gringo Kayango of Happy Hollow, Baguio City; and the brothers Harrison Golocan, Anselmo Golocan, Ryan Golocan of PO3 Noel Golocan from Lepanto, Mangkayan, Benguet. They are here to observe the proceedings, Madam Chairman, and they have asked for assistance from my office. They ask for nothing except justice. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Madam Chair.
Parliamentary inquiry, Madam Chair. If you don't mind, last Wednesday we suggested that the survivors be invited. I understand that in your opening statement you mentioned something to that effect, that we will not take them first as suggested. May we know?
Yes, sir. For their security, they have shown courtesy to the Senate body by being present here today, but we may have to talk to them separately to get their statements, their sworn statements, and if ever we need to share it, we will not ask for their physical presence here in the session hall unless there are some objections from, and also for their health reasons, Senator Soto. So if there's any comments regarding this?
Madam Chair, beyond the issue of the security of the witnesses that will be called, as it is, we are on hot pursuit operations. Lives are involved of our ground operatives, including possibly innocent civilians. So it is in this light that we manifest formally in this hearing the need for utmost security as a consideration in not only the appearance of witnesses, but in the information that will be shared with the committee in a public hearing like this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. President.
I think you have properly set the parameters upon which this inquiry will be conducted, and you rightfully identified our resource persons who will make the initial presentation. This is not the first and only hearing. There will be other hearings. So may I request that we proceed in accordance with what you have suggested and hear the resource persons. All the others we can hear in a subsequent hearing so that we can have an orderly presentation. We are here to find out facts, to find out the truth. So that may I suggest to the chair that we proceed in accordance with what the chair has directed to be the order of the presentation, and after which we can have all the questions and we can have the other resource persons that the senators may wish to call in a subsequent hearing. But in this particular hearing, the order that was announced by the chairman, I think, is in order. Thank you, Mr.
Madam Chair, just
Madam
on that
Chair,
point.
if I may,
Madam-
a last procedural point, Madam Chair, if I may. Perhaps I would like to suggest that for some of the testimony of the resource persons, that they might choose to request that they provide such testimony in executive session, both for the reasons given by Senator Honasan and for their own, I suppose, ability to be candid and speak openly. So that's as a suggestion, perhaps maybe not these witnesses that we have here, but those that will be following.
Yes, Senator Marcos, at the appropriate time, we will determine that as members of the committee. We will determine if there is reason for it to be an executive session, and if so, if there's really a threat to national security or for their person, before we can really authorize that it be allowed, that the information be withheld from the public.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just on that
Sir.
point, Madam Chair, I had the privilege and opportunity to talk to the survivors last week when I visited them. And while it is true that some of them are still recovering and cannot come here, there were a couple who were willing to come here, but they requested that, one, their names not be released because Marwan's cells are still active and their families and their communities can be in danger. Secondly, they said that they would like to speak in front of the camera. However, their faces, if possible, will be covered so that their identity will not be discovered. And then if there is anything that has to do with national security or operational security, they will stop. Unfortunately, for I don't know what reason or many reasons, the media got hold of the names of these survivors, and it was already in the media on Saturday, on Sunday. So may I request, Madam Chair, to avoid a miscommunication, especially with the survivors and with the families of those who fallen, who do have threats. Maybe the PNP and AFP can have a liaison with the committee all throughout this, a liaison officer all throughout these hearings to be able to advise the Secretariat which names can be released, etc. I think yung po yung sinasabi ni Senator Honasan, that sometimes the mere release of the names already endangers the family of these people, Madam Chair. No? So having said that, I leave it up to you, Madam Chair, and my office is also open because we're continuing to talk to them. And the information this morning is that they can speak out, but they're to protect their identities. Sila daw okay lang sila, pati yung mga pamilya nila at yung mga classmates kasama nila sa kampo, yun ang inaalala nila, Madam Chair.
All noted. Let us begin our discussion. Perhaps Senator T.G. Ginggona, as chairman of the committee, the secondary committee hearing this on peace, unification, and reconciliation, would like a brief opening statement.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mga kababayan, dahil sa trahedya sa Mamasapano, nagkaroon ng malalim na lamat sa tiwalang matagal na nating binubuo na magkabilang panig sa usaping pangkapayapaan sa Mindanao. 3 punto lang ang ibig kong iparating sa lahat. Number 1, gawin natin ang lahat upang lumitaw ang katotohanan. Katotohanan lamang ang daan tungo sa katarungan para sa SAF 44 at katarungan para sa lahat. Katotohanan lamang ang magbabalik ng tiwala sa isa't isa. Kailangan ituloy natin ang usaping pangkapayapaan na nakabase sa katotohanan at katarungan. At nang sa ganon, manumbalik ang pagtitiwala sa isa't isa. Point number 2. Meron nagsasabi na dapat mag-resign na si Pangulong Noynoy Aquino. Mali yan. Hindi tama ang mag-resign. Now more than ever, we need a leader that can navigate us through these difficult times. Si Pangulong Noynoy Aquino, ang ama ng ating bayan, at naniniwala ako na kasama natin siya at siya ay tutulong sa paghahanap ng katotohanan. Point number 3. Meron dyan sumisigaw na ang kailangan na ngayon all-out war. Mali din yan. Hindi yan ang tamang landas. Alam natin lahat, lalong-lalo na mga sundalo at mga pulis, na pagdating sa digmaan, walang panalo. Ang unang mabibiktima dyan ang mga sibilyan, mga nanay, mga bata, mga pamilya. Pagdating ng digmaan, walang mananalo. Yun lang po. Magandang umaga sa lahat. Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Senator TGs. Senator Frank Drilon, Senate President.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just very briefly. First of all, let me reiterate my appreciation for the Chair having set the parameters upon which this inquiry done in aid of legislation will be conducted. Last January 25, the country gained 44 new heroes. Sadly, we also lost the lives of all the 44. Since then, Madam Chair, the operation to capture Marwan and Usman had to endure public outrage and a barrage of criticism stemming from the supposed flaws in how the operation was conducted. The profuse and intense focus on the errors of the operation, perceived or real, has taken the center stage and has nearly eclipsed the bravery and heroism of our SAF commandos and what they had accomplished. Indeed, there are many questions begging for answers. The truth, no matter how painful, must come out. Lives were lost. We must find out why. But our search for the whys and the hows must not be obscured by the blinding impulse or the single-minded purpose to merely find fault or to finger point or lay the blame for blame's sake. For us to turn against each other now would be nearly as tragic as the loss of 44 lives, and that is exactly what the enemies of peace would want to happen. The hundreds of Marwans and Usmans are still out there, who are still out there and would mock us from afar. If that were to happen, our heroes would have died in vain. To those who now have the privilege of asking questions, to those who now have the responsibility of giving answers, and to the millions who deserve to know, let us in this inquiry find out what happened. Why? Could we have done things differently? Was it worth it? Lives were lost. We must find out how lives could be safeguarded and saved in future campaigns against terrorism and lawlessness. The tragedy that has befallen our 44 heroes reveals the brute force and mercilessness of terrorism. This evil cannot be underestimated, and at the culmination of this inquiry, we expect to come out stronger in our fight against those threatening to cause mayhem under the guise of advancing an ideology. Let us review our counter-terrorism protocol and security capabilities. This is a crucial time in our quest for lasting peace in Mindanao. The death of our 44 SAF commandos in the hands of the MILF and the BIFF cannot be ignored and breathed out. To our brothers in the MILF, I ask, be one with us in finding the truth in Mamasapano class and in giving justice to the family of those who have been slain. Let the guilty be punished. Be one with us in our fight against terrorism and lawlessness. Do not provide refuge to Usman and others of his kind. When the government goes after them, do not stand in the way. Rather, show us the way. Now more than ever, we must show to our people that we both desire peace. We already lost 44 lives. Let not peace and justice be the 45th. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Drilon. We shall now begin with the opening statement or the testimony of Secretary Mar Rojas as the head of the DILG and the PNP. Before we begin, may we ask all the resource persons to please stand up and take their oath before the body. Secretariat.
May I request all the resource persons to please stand up and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, in this investigation in aid of legislation on the Mamasapano incident? For the record, Madam Chair, all the resource persons gave their affirmative answer.
Thank you. Secretary Mar.
Madam Chair, please forgive me, colleagues, for raising this issue again. Before Secretary Rojas makes his briefing, may we put on record that the information that will be contained in his briefing reflect declassified information that will not impact on the ongoing operations. Because, let me reiterate this, Madam Chair and distinguished colleagues, lives are involved. Any name we mention here might impact on future operations, and we will not achieve the purpose of this briefing. So, Madam Chair, may I put that on record? And as a final point, may we allow Secretary Rojas and Secretary Gasmen, those who will initially provide information, to say so if the information they will divulge as part of the briefing reflect classified information, so that we can manage this in a more secure and a better manner. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Furthermore, Madam Chair, perhaps we can allow our resource persons, when asked a question that requires an answer that reveals classified information, that they say so. If you are asked a question, ladies and gentlemen, about classified information, please inform the body that the answer would require the divulgence of that you divulging classified information, and we will take note of that, and we will not publicize that classified information. With your permission, Madam Chair.
Yes, I think that we trust our representatives, resource persons enough that they should really know if it will endanger the lives or it will jeopardize a particular operation. So I don't think, well, it's good to remind them, but again, this is your prerogative to say if it's classified, but it is something that will also be ultimately determined by the body later on if it is something that should be classified. So,
Just one procedural matter. May I request our colleagues, just for an orderly presentation, and so that we all understand what is being said, that we allow our resource persons to speak without interruption. The questions can come later, just as a procedural matter.
duly noted, Senator Drilon. If there are no other manifestations, we will now begin with our presentation from the resource person of the DILG, Secretary Rojas.
Thank you, Madam Chair, co-chairs, Mr. Senate President, senators, magandang umaga po. Before I begin, may I just make sure, okay na ba? From the technician that the nakaload na. Okay. Thank you. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Sa ngalan ng NAPOLCOM, ng PNP, ng DILG, nagpapasalamat po kami sa pagkakataon na itong humarap sa inyong komite at sa Senado, sa Sambayanan, para masabi ang aming nalalaman tungkol dito sa Mamasapano incident. Over the last 2 weeks, 44 caskets lay in state all over our country. These caskets were draped with a flag and had medals, certificates, and the beret signifying membership in the SAF on top of them. As each of these caskets were interred, these flags were reverently folded, touched to the officer's heart, and gently given to the widow and parents of the SAF policeman. Madam Chair, the SAF got their man. They did their part. We now must have to do ours. Sa kasaysayan ng isang bansa, hindi maiiwasan na may mga trabaho o misyon na mapanganib na kailangan gawin o mangyari. Sa unipormadong hanay, ito yung realidad ng kanilang pagsisilbi. Bombero, Coast Guard, sundalo, airman, Navy, pulis. Alam nila na pagsuot nila ng kanilang uniforme, markado na sila, unang-una. At pangalawa, yung uri ng kanilang trabaho ay mapanganib. It is our duty as a nation to make sure that whatever these missions are, na una, karapat-dapat, worthwhile. Kung mapapalagay sila sa panganib, worthwhile dapat, karapat-dapat lamang ang objective ng kanilang misyon. Pangalawa, obligasyon din po natin na siguruhin na nasa sa kanila ang sapat na kakayahan at kagamitan para magawa nila itong tungkulin na ito. At pangatlo, obligasyon din natin na mapa sa kanila ang lahat ng tulong at suporta para merong reasonable chance of success ang kanilang misyon. These are the 3 parameters that we are looking at relative to the Mamasapano events. And it is in that context that the PNP formed a board of inquiry to find out in a transparent, objective, and timely manner the events that transpired. Their work is not yet completed, but we have here Director Benji Magalong, who concurrently is also the head of the CIDG, who chairs the Board of Inquiry. He and his investigators, who are trained debriefers, who are trained in asking questions and taking testimony, undertook the painstaking work of obtaining all of the information that is available. May I turn this over, Madam Chair, to Director Magalong.
Director Benjamin Magalong, go ahead with the statement.
Thank you, ma'am. Our Senate President, Madam Chair, Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Police Director Benjamin Magalong, Director of the PNP Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. I am serving as the Chair of the Board of Inquiry, or BOI, created on orders of DILG Secretary Mar Rojas, issued on January 26 to establish the facts and circumstances surrounding the SAF operation in Mamasapano, Maguindanao, from January 24 to January 26, resulting in the death of 44 SAF troopers. I'm here to present the initial facts and circumstances of what we have established so far, based on 374 interviews, 318 sworn statements, SMS and call logs, and special reports submitted by the PNP SAF, local police, and the Armed Forces of the Philippines as of February 8, 2015. From January 26 until today, 46 investigators have spent 5,152 man-hours collecting the data which served as the basis of my presentation. The information contained in my briefing is our understanding of what happened and does not contain any prejudgment, findings, or conclusions. The targets of SAF's operation were most wanted terrorist Zulkifli Binhir, known as Marwan, and Basit Usman, a BIFF commander. Zulkifli was the primary target. He was a U.S.-trained engineer and was head of the Kumpulun Mujahideen Malaysia and a member of the Jemaah Islamiyah's Central Command. He was wanted for multiple murders and frustrated murders related to his bombing activities. He was an expert bomb maker, a trainer, and personally detonated explosives by remote control using cellular phones. Marwan conducted training sessions in various places around Mindanao. The slide shows the places where these sessions were held. He was also involved in multiple bombing incidents in Mindanao. The locations of these incidents can be seen in the slide. Marwan was the most notorious for the 2002 Bali bombing in Indonesia, which killed 202 and injured 209 people. Marwan's bombs and previous encounters with law enforcement officers resulted in the death of 46 innocent civilians and injury to 207 others in the Philippines alone. These do not include the deaths, injuries, and destruction of bombing perpetrated by students and followers. Abdul Basit Usman is a key commander in the BIFF. He is a bomb make expert who trains terrorists in assembling and planting bombs. He has multiple warrants for deaths and injuries caused by his bombing-related activities. He operates in central and southern Mindanao. Basit Usman's bombs killed a total of 17 innocent civilians and injured 62 people from 2002 to 2008. The worst incident was in General Santos City on April 21, 2002, which killed 15 people and wounded 15 more, or 55 more. Reflected in the slide were special projects against Marwan and their status. A total of 10 operations were launched. Only the last succeeded in neutralizing these international terrorists. Clearly, with their renowned notoriety and record of terror activities, clearly, Marwan and Usman are high-value and priority targets whose arrest or capture was rightfully and legitimately pursued by the state. The plan spelled out the employment of 392 SAF troopers assigned. Yes, sir.
We're just currently fixing the system so that we can continue with our presentation. Meron po ba kayong hard copy niyan? Gusto po ninyong tuloy-tuloy na lang po yung basa para masundan na lang o kailangan talaga natin makita yung PowerPoint?
Yung kabahagi ng PowerPoint para mas madaling maunawaan kung ano nangyari, yung movements at the time, we have hard copies that we have submitted to the committee, but it might not be so clear.
Okay, we'll give it a few more minutes.
Madam Chair, we are informed that it's okay already. Can we just ask the operator? Can we just test it? Slide for us, one slide forward. Sige. Next. Oh, sige.
Okay.
I think it looks like it's working. Thank you.
Okay, now the session will now resume.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The plan spelled out for the employment of 392 SAF troopers assigned to 12 different operating groups for the mission. Their tasks are shown in the slide. One group was assigned as the main effort, 4 groups as support effort.
Sir, we will give you another 5 minutes to hopefully have it fixed. Otherwise, in the interest also of being able to cover as much material as we can, today we need to proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Secretary, while we're awaiting for the presentation, the audiovisual presentation, may we request that we be supplied hard copies of your presentation
Yes, ma'am.
immediately, as soon as you can?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
I
you.
think that we submitted it to the. We provided a copies as well as a USB to the secretariat. Is that
Madam Chair.
apparently it's here. There's another set here. Please distribute to the senators.
Madam
Yes,
Chair.
Senator Binay.
Baka yung iba hong resource person will also have a PowerPoint presentation. Baka pwede ho ngayon pa lang bigyan na tayo ng hard copy or kung kailangan pang i-photocopy, baka we can already start doing it.
Duly noted, Senator Nancy. Those that have PowerPoint presentations and actually your sworn statements should be submitted to the Secretariat. Asawa, magulang, kapatid. Isang tawag niya'y tatalikdang pilit. Ipahandog-handog ang buong pag-ibig at hanggang may dugoy uubusing itigis. Kung sa pagtatanggol buhay ay mapatid, ito'y kapalaran at tunay na langit. Inihandog ng SAF 44 ang kanilang buhay sa pinakamataas na sakripisyo na magagawa ng isang pulis, ang mamatay sa linya ng tungkulin. Nararapat lamang na suklian natin ito ng sigasig sa paghahanap ng katotohanan sa pagdinig na ito. Ang paglabas ng katotohanan ng unang hakbang sa pagbibigay ng katarungan sa sinapit ng SAF 44. Utang nating lahat sa kanila, sa kanilang mga naulila at sa sambayanang nagdadalamhati ang pagpapalabas ng kasama na rin po ang mga nagpapagaling ngayon ng mga nasugatan. Iniakda ni Gat Andres Bonifacio ang mga salitang ito. Aling pag-ibig pa ang hihigit kaya sa pagkadakila at pagkadalisay, gaya ng pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa? Aling pag-ibig pa wala na nga, wala. Kung ang bayang ito'y masasapanganib at siya ay dapat na ipagtangkilik, ang anak, Usman. Marwan is listed in the United States FBI's most wanted terrorist list. 2. A substantial number of SAF members were involved in the operation, 392 in all, according to the PNP. 44 members of SAF died, while more than at least a dozen were injured in the day-long encounter. On the part of the Committee on Public Order, we are conducting this hearing to determine what happened, as well as to provide long-term institutional mechanisms, solutions, or even laws to avoid repetition of the same tragic, large-scale loss of lives. First, the committees need answer on command and control issues. Tactical implementation and strategic planning are equally important. One can lead to the success or failure of the other. Questions like, who ordered the operation? Who was in command? Totoong naganap sa Mamasapano noong Enero 25 nang walang itinatago, walang pinipili, at walang interes kung hindi ang tuparin ang tungkuling iniatas sa atin. To set facts into perspective, and as Senator Soto, Estrada, Gingona, Ejercito, and this representation identified in the 5 Senate resolutions in today's agenda, let me briefly reiterate the following. 1. On January 25, 2015, members of the Philippine National Police's Elite Special Action Force led an operation in Mamasapano, Maguindanao. The operation was said to have targeted top terrorist Zulkifli Abhir, also known as Marwan, an alleged bomb maker who was believed to be a member of Jamaya Islamiyah, and alleged BIFF Commander Basit. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. The joint public hearing of the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs, the Committee on Peace, Unification and Reconciliation, and the Committee on Finance is called to order. The members of the committee share with the nation a collective grief brought about by the deadly incident in Mamasapano that claimed the lives of 44 members of the Special Action Force of the PNP and our Muslim brothers. Bago po tayo mag-umpisa, hihingi po ako ng ilang sandaling katahimikan upang magpasalamat at ipanalangin ang ating mga namayapang magigiting na PNP, police officers,